Okay, so I've had a couple of people asking me about changing windows in Pygame. So I've adapted this bit of code that will hopefully help you a little bit if you're stuck on this. So I'm going to assume at this point that you've got a decent understanding of Pygame and object-oriented programming, because I've done that in so many of the other videos. So I'm not going to go over every little minuscule detail, because otherwise this would be quite a long video. But I'll assume basic knowledge of attributes, methods, things like that. So starts import Pygame. Use a dictionary to store my colors. It's always got a nice way of doing it, so you can refer to the color name and then it will return the values. I've then got a screen class, so this is going to allow me to make screen objects. This is basically the core of what I want to show you in the video. There is also a button class which I'll show you, but that's not that important. You can do your buttons however you want to. But this bit, so I've got a screen. I'll give it a title, which is what will be displayed as the sort of caption thing. Give it a width and height, a color to fill it, and this thing here is really important. So this is a current attribute, which I'm going to set by default to false. Now, the way this whole thing is going to work is if you set that current to true, it's going to draw that window. And the way you switch windows is you set it back to false and set another one to true. And that will basically mean, oh, right, now we're drawing this window, or drawing this screen. And that works really well. And there's lots of different ways of doing this. This is just the one I've seen is quite a common approach. So yeah, so you give it a couple of attributes. It's got default attributes unless you pass it something else. That's what the equals is. But if you pass it something, it'll override those. It's got a couple of methods. So make current means change the caption to be of the display to be the title of that screen, and set current to true because we're making this screen current, or this object which is a screen. And then change the display to be the width and height of what you want. End current, which will set to false. Check update means return whether true or false for current. So just to check whether the window you're talking about is on or not. We'll use that to decide whether to draw it. Screen update, if it is current, fill the screen the color you want. Return title just returns the self.screen. You've then got a button class as well. I'm not going to go through all the details of this, but essentially you've got buttons, some properties for font and size and things like that. You've got a couple of methods. So you've got focus check. Focus check detects based on your mouse position if you are over the button or not. If you are over the button, it sets current to true, otherwise current's false. Then show button will draw the button, and you see here it says if self.current. Well, if you've done focus check, that's saying is your mouse over it. If it is, draw it with a certain color, otherwise draw it with another color. So that's your sort of hover and not hover color. So it'll create that sort of hover effect. And then sort your text out and then blip your text to your button. So split your button and your text on top. So draw it to the screen. So don't worry if you're not, because I'm not focusing too much on this. Don't worry about the button too much. You can do it just drawing your buttons as normal. They don't have to be objects if you struggle with object oriented. But I'd certainly say having your objects, your screen as objects is a good move. Then the loop and how it works. So you've got import Pygame. Got a couple of screens here. Look, I've made so menu screen equals screen, and I'm passing it menu screen as the title. So you see when I go up to screen, it's expecting the title. Every other thing are extra attributes you can pass, but because they've got equals, they don't have to. Okay, so I could go comma 500, comma 500, comma black, or no, mine would be colors. I could do that, and that would make that window different size to that and stuff. You can, but you don't need to. You can just do that and it will take the default parameters. This one is I'm saying the window is menu screen dot make current. So I'm making menu screen, as in that screen, the current to be true. So it will know which one to draw at the start. Then I've got done equals false, which is for my loop while not done. Look, test button and return button. I'm making 2 buttons here. So I'm making buttons. These are parameters for X and Y position, width and height. The color, I think that's the first color. That's your hover color, your font size, the color of the font, and the word that you want written on top. So you make your buttons, and then we've got our main loop here, so it's not too big. But essentially we update the screens. So both screens, look, any screens you have, you update them. So screen.update is this. So if current is true for that screen, fill the whole screen with the color of that window of that screen. So you do that, so it's make sure it's drawing the right color, and you need to do that at the start, because obviously anything else you draw needs to be layered on top. You get your mouse switch and get your clicks, get your keys. That's just from an old bit of code, you don't need that. The keys, because I don't think we're using that in this one. And then here, what we've essentially got is each screen, we've got an if statement. So you see that's screen 1, then there's another one for screen 2. And then that's just the bit at the bottom, look, is just the standard. You get the events, that's where your event handling would go. And if event.type is pygame.quit, it just gets you out of the loop. So that's your standard that's in all of them. So it's only this little bit of code here. So it's the same as that one. So I'll just explain one. You're basically saying if menu screen.check update, so go up to the top, check update, it's going to return self.current. So it's either going to return true or false. So if that's true, that's what that's saying. Because if that's true, then we want to go in here and do this, and then we'll do elif for the screen, the next one. So you're basically trying to find out which screen's current is true, and then we're going to do the stuff within it. So if it is true, we're saying we're making a button. Look, screen2.button. We're going to do a focus check on it. So that's you pass it the mouse position and mouse click that we've just got. And then we're going to show the button, and we're going to show it on menu screen.return title. So again, that's finding the name of the screen. So it's going to return self.screen, look. Okay. And show button is this bit. So it's actually drawing it to the screen. So that's basically saying that line there is just saying draw the button on the screen that we're on, that is in here. So this is menu screen in that instance. So it's a way of I can use the buttons over multiple screens dead easy without having to recreate them. And then if screen2 button, then we just make it current, make the window current, and then menu screen.end current. So if we click on screen2 button, which means go to screen 2, then we want screen 2 to be made current, and we want the menu screen to be ended. So we're setting screen 2's current to true, and we're setting the menu screen's current to false. And what you get when we run that, and then this is doing the same look. So if you click on the button within screen 2, you're setting menu to current and screen 2 to false. So what you get when you run that is a very simple window with a button, look, with a hover effect. And you see I'm on menu screen by that title. If I click on test, I'm now on screen 2, and I've got a return button as well. So I can return to the menu screen. And I can keep switching between screens like that. Okay, and it works really well. It's a nice simple method that you can incorporate if you're struggling.